business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get you confused. So relax your mind, make sure everything is fine, while I take you down a poetic line. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Yellow, yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring, man answering. Yellow, yellow, no hello. Teeth get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell a ring. If we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treated us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of corruption. Then to economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. All your projects are stuck in a pipeline, but when asked, how is the country going? Oh, fine. We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline. No water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, soon. Maybe by the next full moon. Although things are turning at a very slow pace, we now run no race. 5 years is a lot of space. It's just a few hungry people in a place, and a few disgruntled green people with their vexed face. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Busy governing, busy managing, busy politicking, busy neglecting, busy inflicting poverty and hunger throughout Grenada. 1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis, less stress on the economy. You and Manchester hold up the country. You didn't see us down by the Bury when you send SSU to between. Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. So we've heard about your internal division, but some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party? And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good, cause it's a long time Grenada ain't eat food. You think politicians good? Trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. You remember Remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But who will restore Grenada? Is it the same Jonah? Lots of doubt, so I'm running up my mouth. And I ain't counting no chicken before the hatch. Politicians sometimes farm a crooked batch. After they get the vote, they now sing one note. But here comes Fort Judy and Nancy Payne, with $1 million house and brand new car on the scene, while our hungry belly still grumbling. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
Here comes still with more pressure.
Now, 6 minutes after the hour of 8 on the Spice Isle of Grenada.
One thing I utter.
I'm saying a special good night to all our listeners locally, regionally, and internationally.
Of the world. So drink your bush home if you want good health. And for real, we appreciate the free barrel, but they only come in December. So what we do from January to November? Suck salt and drink Nawasa water. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited.
Yeah, it's one of those nights when you're trying to sort out everything on your own, and yeah, things that should be working one way, working a different way, and so, yeah.
What will be your theme for the next campaign? It can never be about change.
Good night, Carlson. Yes.
Are you going to tell people?
And good night to you, Trisha, Maria, Jillian, Betty, Shirley, Dominic, Kishon, Shemaine, Devon Romain. Good night, sir. Cindy, McLean. I'm seeing Andre, David, Tanya. Let me see. Winnie, Sharon. Yes, Cynthia, I'm seeing Faye, Lynn, Nakisha, June, I'm seeing Courtney, well, Yvonne, nice. Yeah, Jocelyn, Williams, Jakim, yeah, Dexter Charles, Monica, I'm seeing you, my dear. Yeah, let me see, Ann Jackson, Elon, good night. Nigel, Marishan, Landon, Dennis, Neil, well, the other Neil, yeah, Annette, Wendy Ann, yeah, you're in early tonight. You're Linda, Shawnell, Christopher, Antonito. Good night to all of you and the many others who are on the live. That's over. Jillian, hey, what's up? Yeah, those of you over there. David, Nigel, Leonard. Right, let me see. Agatha. Yeah, Christopher. Good night. All of you on the Facebook Live, yeah, seeing the numbers building by the second. All right, and over on YouTube, yeah, Joyce, Anna Marie, Hillary, Wilma, Natalia, Tati, nice, good, yeah. Henry, let me see, Eliza, Paul, Jackie, Londa, David, Cynthia, Dave, Clive, Beavis, Gavin, Doreen, Samantha, the other Ann, Dolores, no, don't call it the other Ann, Ann Andrews, nice. Next thing I just seen other Ann and people feel slighted. No. Matthew Bowen, good night to you. Mr. Watts, good night. Christine, Listra, Deborah, Faithlin, Kathleen, Michelle, Jillian, and let me see, I'm seeing Kathleen there, I'm seeing Margaret, and Sherma, well, you're on the top tonight, girl. Special good night to each and every one of you.
So man and man must reason.
Yes, we will be having a guest on with us tonight. I was hoping to bring them in via Zoom, but as I said earlier, we're having some technical issues here, so I'll have to bring them in via WhatsApp. So we'll be bringing Senator the Honorable Senator Cox in via WhatsApp. Roughly at 8:30, we'll be bringing them on. Let me see if I hit the magic number. Yeah, I'll hit the magic number in the next couple seconds or so, and then we'll start. Nice, good.
I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you want?
Pope, good night.
Sounded so good to believe, and deception is a
Pope and Pope, good night.
Rightful thinking, so we voted for the bling. But
Jillian, Cicely, good night.
Promises we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you know,
Karen, yes, we are looking forward as well. Good night to you.
Yellow all the way is what everybody say. Cell phone ring.
I forgot to drink my honey before I left home. Yeah, I forgot my honey tonight.
Get yellow, man, get yellow.
But my voice will keep up, don't worry.
So says 11-4. When you
There's just a sort of little flu that going around, and like everyone that passes around, one of the children get it and they pass it on to daddy, because you know daddy has to be medicine man, all kind of thing. Yeah, daddy they come in and hug up, and daddy they come in and rub up. So daddy always picking up the flu All these flu that passing around, yeah.
So cherish what you have to diminish regret.
Pastor, good night to you.
Forever.
So every month I'm picking up some flu or the other. Parents, when your children are the cool, keep them home now. Oh gosh, now.
Allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song
Samuel, April, yeah, good night to you.
if we didn't know, we never know yellow would have treat us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain.
So folks, let's start with the Marketing and National Importing Board. We're going to start there because we'll speak about one or two things before we get to Senator Cox in a while. So let's speak of one or two things here. To the employees of the Marketing and National Importing Board, a document was sent to you today, the 15th day of February 2023. A document that was copied to Mr. Peter Andal, Mr. Elvis Young, Mr. Michael Robertson, Miss Raquel Peters, and Mrs. Sholanda Roberts. So you know I know what document I'm talking about, in case you all don't know which one I'm talking about, right? And the subject of that document is voluntary separation. And it says, dear supervisor, please conduct a discussion on an individual level with your reports and provide a list of those in favor of voluntary separation. And they have in brackets termination of their employment with Marketing and National Importing Board. Due to the interest of time, this list should be provided by midday, Thursday the 16th of February, 2023. Please be guided accordingly. And it says, kind regards, Marketing and National Importing Board. And it's signed by Terry Ann Hippolyte Fraser, the Human Resource Manager, who was made to send that out to the staff. Let me say this to those of you who are presently employed with the Marketing and National Importing Board. Ignore that. Yeah? Take the advice from me. Take my advice. Ignore that. What they are attempting to do, and your union, if your union had your best interests at heart, would have pounced on this, would have discredited this, because what they're trying to get you to do is they are trying to get you to resign instead of them terminating your employment. If you resign, the package that you get going to be small. They're trying to trick you all. This is heartless and wicked. If the board of directors are Marketing and National Importing Board, and the person who signed the letter has nothing to do with this, they are employee, they were told to do this. So don't go calling up the Human Resource Manager name. They had nothing to do with that. They were given directions and they followed the directives. Yeah? But what is taking place here is that they are attempting to make you resign. Now, if you resign, you all must read the labor code and check the thing. If you resign, the amount of money you have to get is way less because you say, well, I want to work with you again. And they want it by a certain time tomorrow because they want to hold as much of you as possible before the information can reach the 94 of you. To ignore that. There is no benefit to that. What they are asking you to do there, to take voluntary separation. In other words, for you to say to them that, hey, I want to work again. I go in. Well, what do you mean you want to work again? They said they're sending all of you home at the end of this month. Now, if you take voluntary separation, it means that the separation package, the money that you will receive, the severance, is going to be significantly less than you would receive if they are the ones that terminate you. So understand the trick that they're trying on you all. Oh gosh, how you could do that to people? Yeah? How you all could do that to people? What kind of wickedness is that? Again, let me go over it again. Let me tell you, I want the listening public to know what this letter says. It's asking the supervisors of the various departments to conduct a discussion on an individual level with your reports and provide a list of those in favor of voluntary separation. In quotes, termination of their employment with the Marketing and National Importing Board. Do not say you want voluntary separation. Let them fire you. Let their party be the party that terminates the employment. If you, and I'm not talking about political party here, I'm speaking about let Marketing and National Importing Board, the board of directors, let them terminate your employment. The payout is more. The difference here can be in the thousands of dollars. If you take the voluntary, and don't let the union try to trick all you with this stupidness, because I realize certain people in that union playing games. I realize certain people in that union playing games. So if they come to all you telling all you take the voluntary termination, all you tell them hold it. Anyway, I can't say that on air. But tell them something that could complete that sentence. Yeah? Because you ought to know, and it ought to be explained to you, that if you take voluntary separation, your severance package would be significantly less. In other words, the amount of money they have to give all you when they sending all you home, yeah. So if you had to get a 20 grand, you might get a 12 or a 13 instead. You understand? So you ought to know to ignore that letter. None of you who have any common sense, and I know you, the staff of Marketing and National Importing Board, my good friends there, I know you all have a lot of sense. Don't be tricked by this. And you see how they come with it? They come with it today for tomorrow because they're trying to trick you all. Don't fall for it. These people wouldn't allow anybody to do them it, you know. You already heard the Prime Minister, yeah? You already heard the Prime Minister saying how much it's going to cost to pay you all off and that kind of thing. There are some people between the Prime Minister and yourself. Yeah, so it might be the Prime Minister himself or others who claim to be working in the interest of the Prime Minister. I keep telling them checky circles. Who are trying to deprive you, the workers of Marketing and National Importing Board, who are trying to deprive you of money that you should be receiving. Don't fall for it. You already have the problem that the payoff that they might give you would not be able to cover your mortgage. That the bank may place a lien on your salary, your last salary. Remember, the banks, the credit union, all of them that you all have loan with, they know this is the last month of the Marketing and National Importing Board. And they know if you have a loan with them, that whatever payment you all get right now is supposed to come to them. If there's anything left over after paying off your loan and so, you can get that. Has the board of directors of the Marketing and National Importing Board spoken to the lending institutions on your behalf? Have the government of Grenada spoken to the banks? Have they spoken to Republic Bank and Nexus and First Caribbean Bank and so on? Have they spoken to them? Cooperative Bank, have they spoken to them on your behalf to say, well, look, ease them? Because the other thing is that, remember, and this is for everybody in general, these people do not have a job after the last day of this month. So the bank and the credit union and them want their money. So if they owe in 30,000 and they get 20,000, believe me, the bank or the credit union is going to seize it. These people are going to end up without a penny to their name in some instances. Those who maybe they owe the bank a little 5,000 remaining and they get a 20 or the 30, well, they're good to go. They just pay off the remainder and they're good. You can't take a next loan. You ain't working no way. But they're good. But what about the others that say, oh, a 30,000 and they get a 20? Then the bank sees the 20 and all they get is the, you understand? So they're ending up in problems. So don't let them reduce the amount of money that you have to get at the end of the month more. Nobody should be allowed to fall for this, because I know that there are certain people in certain positions that would come and try to convince you with all kind of nice talk, all kind of sexy talk, all kind of nice talk that you should accept this and take it now. And look, we'll give you money this week if you take it. Them kind of thing they will come with. Don't fall for it. Take your money this week and you lose thousands of dollars? Come on, man. This is wicked. Take what this. You see what I say? Some people wicked. This is wicked. To attempt to do this for the people who working marketing and national importing board is wicked. You all even say like you hold a little session with the people. You all even say, let's try to talk to the people. Conference at churches, where all you ain't going and talk to the people. Come on. But instead you send out this thing to the workers, of the Marketing and National Importing Board. And it had to be provided by midday tomorrow. By midday tomorrow, in fact, by 8 a.m. tomorrow, they must know with a finality that the amount of people that are accepting voluntary termination is 0. None of you. Don't let them dangle anything in front of you. Well, we go take you back when we start up the new company. That is not a surety. That is not a surety. There are already people out there not employed by the Marketing and National Importing Board beating their chest and saying they know when the new entity reopens, they have a job there. If all you ain't hear them, other people hearing them, we are hearing them out there. Because some of them don't know how to keep quiet, so they have to talk. So do not allow them to do this to you. They're going to try to tell you, hey, take this and we're going to guarantee that you get a job when marketing board or whatever name it carries reopens in 6 months or 8 months or a year. Don't fall for it. I know all you're smart. I know you all are intelligent. I ain't saying I think. I know that you are smart. I know that you all are intelligent. Right? So I know you all understand what I am saying to you tonight. Do not fall for it. All right? Good. Oh, I thought I had my music on.
And rehire the Imanis. Less stress on the economy. You and Manchester hold up the country. You didn't see us down by the brewery when they sent SSU to beat we. Trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease this strain. But you now refrain. You now refrain. So we've heard about your internal division, but some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party, and will we vote you?
You know, people don't say all kind of thing. You know, one thing I remember the New National Party did not too long after we came back into office in 2013, we removed personal income tax on severance. Before, when you get your severance, in other words, if your severance was 8 or 9,000 or whatever, you had to pay personal income tax on it. And the New National Party removed, that was one of the agreements with the trade union movement, that once the New National Party returns to office, that we would address that particular issue. So that when somebody retire, let's say from one of the companies like a Grenlec or an Owasa, or even from now, they're getting the severance, and so from there, or you're getting a severance, from one of those organizations, not retiring. But when you're getting your severance, that you don't have to pay personal income tax on that. It's not being taxed. All right? So you're getting your wrong money. And that's the New National Party that did that for you. But they wouldn't tell you that, eh? No. Not even the union that represent all, they would admit that to you all.
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. So yellow people say, next election, not me, stain that finger. Cause after we say enough from Jonah, here comes still with more pressure and hunger. And from the mouth of Grenada, only one thing I utter: the Congress neglect us, the Congress fail us. And I could never understand the distribution of the wealth. So drink your bush home if you want good health.
Some people trying to save some people some money that they know they don't have.
December. So what we are doing from...
And quickly, before I bring on Senator Cox, I'll call him in a while, but before we bring on Senator Cox, now there's another issue that the final caller last night raised, and I did some investigation into today to realize that it is true. Yeah? Yes, Keisha, tax was also removed from pension. Not only severance tax. Yeah, you don't pay personal income tax on pensions. Right. So as I mentioned pensions again, do you know that there are pensioners who ought to have been paid in January, who was last paid in December, who up to today is the 15th day of February 2023, have not received their pension? Maybe the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance might want to go and check on that. I realized that a certain interview just disappeared. Last night, it just disappeared. Luckily, I was able to get it before it disappeared. So I've got it. But we won't get into that tonight. We'll get into that tomorrow night. So I'll have between tonight and tomorrow night to try and hack me and get the interview. All right? Nice. Because I heard the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance. And he was saying he didn't know about this thing about pensioners being asked to give back money. But Mr. Permanent Secretary, let me ask a question. So you don't know that some of the people that were paid pensions when the new National Party paid out a couple millions of dollars in pensions back in 2018, that some of those people who received those payments back then and considered in this tranche of people that received their pensions in November got the same money that they got in 2018, they got it a second time, and therefore they have to return that to the government of Grenada. That is not true. Go and investigate, because we realize like you know what's going on within the ministry you're the permanent secretary for. We realize you don't know what's going on inside there, or you're just not being forthcoming with the truth. Because I listened to that interview with you, you know. And you know one thing between you and the Prime Minister? Both of you could not just say, is a lie, is not true. Both of you said, you don't know. And that was kind of a team song last night. Both of you said, you don't know. But if that is the case, what do you mean, but if that is the case? I'm telling you, it is the case. So you had some people that received out of the pension payment when the new National Party settled with that group of individuals in 2018, who received again, not all, but some, who received that same money that they received in 2018, they receive it again, plus the money for the difference between 2018 and now. So they have to pay back the difference for what they received in 2018. They have to pay back that amount. Isn't that true? Try and tell me it's not true. I challenge you, my good friend. Yeah, whether it is August or summertime, I challenge you to say it is not true. Just make that definitive statement to the general public that it is not true. Yeah? Because I find it very interesting. Yeah, outside of calculations being wrong. And we know that some calculations were wrong. Yeah? We know that some calculations were wrong. So, we also know that some people who got their pension payments already in 2018 got the same pension payments for that period again. And then the payments were between this period and now. And that's a fact. Yeah? So as much as you'd like to use flowery language and speak about your situation where you were also one of the people that years ago you received payments when you were not supposed to be receiving payments, etc., 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 it doesn't take away from the fact that what we are saying is true. And you know very well, my good friend, that what we are saying is true. Just admit it, fix the problem, and move on. Stop trying to do like if somebody lying on all you. Because nobody's lying. Hence the reason you can't say that we are lying. Hence the reason that you cannot deny that it may have happened. And that it is nothing new if it happened because it happened before. Come on. Do a little better than that. All right? So as I say, whether it's August, spring, or summertime, you have the opportunity to answer. Yeah? Nice. Folks, no, I don't really want to take the calls now, but let me try. Let me just take one call. Hello? Hello?
Hi, Mr. Scott. Good night.
Hi, good night.
Listen, based on what I just hear you saying, it means that the new National Party, when they were in office as government, pensions were paid.
Yes, pensions were paid back in 2018 to a certain group of workers.
I was telling somebody that, and they insisting is no, but I don't argue with people. But I think you clarify it here for me. So they did not go back to their records and see who received their initial payment.
Yeah, there were some of those people who received that payment that received the same payment again, plus the difference between then and now, between 2018 to 2022
so
at the time.
The line is pensions had begun to be paid.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my dear. Yes, and let me see here. Yeah, you see, I have to be dealing with so much different thing here. Let me see if I get the person that's on the WhatsApp. Yeah, so let me try and get the WhatsApp call before I go to Senator Cox. Good night. Oh, hello. I think I have Senator Cox on there now, Senator.
Hey, good night. Good night. Good night, Sheldon. How is everything?
Boss man, you catch me off guard there. You know?
I always rule on time. I just said it 30. I said I'm trying to catch you 15 seconds before it 30.
So, folks, we have on the line with us Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox. And how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful this evening. And just let me take this opportunity to say good night to you and all your listeners and everybody who participates in the program from time to time. It's a pleasure to be on. I think this is my first stint on Talking Points, so I'm happy to be here.
And definitely not your last.
Certainly.
Right, Senator Cox, how is Carriacou going?
Well, mixed feelings, but as we are now, we just getting into Carnival, so it's a bit upbeat, and we have a lot of visitors coming in, persons from United States, persons from United Kingdom, coming home to spend time with family and friends, and also we have quite a large contingent from the mainland as well. So even tonight, persons are coming in, and so between now and Friday, Saturday, we're going to see a large influx of persons visiting Carriacou to celebrate 2023 Carnival with us over the weekend and into next week. So we are looking forward to that, and we are happy to have them here. So it should be an exciting weekend, and so we look forward to that.
And so Carriacou overload.
Well, we're holding what we could hold.
Yes,
if you want to put it like that. I think a lot of persons have opened their doors to welcome persons in, because in terms of room stock, we are not quite there to be able to handle those persons. So you have a lot of persons open their doors. I myself would have opened my doors to accommodate some persons as well. So I know what is required for us to make this happen for Carriacou. This is important that people come to invest and to spend money in Carriacou, and so persons are looking for the benefit. It's an important economic activity for persons in Carriacou, businesses and persons who do little small things on the side. So this is important, and so we have to do everything to ensure that it happens, and it happens successfully, so that Carriacouans can benefit. So I'm doing my part.
Yes, indeed. No, we've been hearing many stories coming out of Carriacou. We've been hearing about firings taken. I mean, from the first week, we've been hearing about people getting sent home in Carriacou. We've been hearing a lot of stories about what has been taking place in Carriacou. Your take on what you've been seeing, what you've been hearing. You're on the ground in Carriacou. Although in the comment section right now, I'm seeing a lot of your your South Side people. You know South Side will never give you up, eh? South Side.
I have a special relationship with the people of the South. It is one that I will always cherish, one that I will never forget. Very special. I think that is the best way to describe our relationship.
Yes, the guys in the Limes say they want to see you. They say make sure and give them a check out, man.
Yeah, I've been having some personal challenges, so it's difficult for me to overnight when I come to Grenada. But I do come to Grenada often, but it doesn't allow me to overnight, so I don't get a chance to see them. But I will look them up. Yes, definitely.
So we're speaking now about what has been taking place in Carriacou in relation to the workers.
Sure.
And
let me dive into that, Sheila, because I mean I think it's quite unfortunate that we have those ton of events where persons are put on the breadline. It's quite unfortunate, and the reason why I say that because for those persons, they heard this current administration indicated that persons would not be sent home. They heard that contracts will become a thing of the past and persons will be made permanent. I don't think that they were expected to be sent home permanently. I think they were looking to be employed permanently, and so it's really a whole turnaround. Well, to use their word, it's a serious transformation in their lives, financially and otherwise. And so it is one that is troubling. We have reached out to all those persons who have been impacted in that way. What we are also seeing, we have seen recent pronouncements by senior government officials in Carriacou here indicating that that is the policy of the government, that when your contract expires, we are going to find somebody who we believe is sympathetic to us and not necessarily the person who is the best person for the job in the interest of the development of Carriacou, but to get somebody who you think that is sympathetic towards you politically and put them in there. So what that means? That means that we anticipate that more persons are going to lose their livelihood based on those that policy pronouncement by that senior government official. So that is what we have really deduced from this. That is where it is going, and it's quite unfortunate. It's sad, and there is a significant degree of fear. A lot of inciting persons and having persons worry. Persons will call and say, I don't want to go here. I don't want to be seen with this person because my cousin is working in the ministry, my cousin working in government, my auntie, my uncle, my niece, my nephew. So they don't know how this is going to impact them. And so that fear is spreading on the ground where persons they're not free. They don't feel free to socialize in certain circles. And so that is what is happening from our assessment. It is quite unfortunate, but I just wanted to put it out there.
Yes, indeed. And to those of you who may be wondering, yes, we are speaking with Senator the Honorable Norland Cox. Yes, Senator the Honorable Norland Cox. We are speaking with him out there of Carriacou that's preparing for Carnival right now. And Senator Cox, one of the things I am wondering here is that roughly how many people do we have roughly in the public service in Carriacou? Roughly a rough figure. You may not have the exact number because you don't know for sure how much they took in.
Yeah. I think from my last estimation, I'm looking at between maybe 140 to 200 persons there, but give or take. Yeah. So give or take, it might be around there.
And out of those persons, out of the 140 or so, roughly how many have been sent home now?
Well, to date, we have about 16 persons that we know of who have been impacted, whose contract may not have been renewed, or persons who have been literally fired.
Okay. Yeah. I ain't allowed to call name now because I didn't name it. People from Pity, Martinique, and every part of Carriacou that you can think about.
Well,
the names are there.
I think that most persons Carriacou is a very tight-knit place. I think most persons are aware who are those individuals, and I think they know, and it is just unfortunate, but that is what it is. And I'm saying this because they have really indicated that is not their policy, that is not their intention, that they want to unite Carriacou and Pity Martinique and bring everybody together. I mean, even by the recent independence celebration, the speeches were geared towards unity, but the actions, the policy positions, are clearly ones that are divisive in nature and clear. So I don't know how. I don't know who is fooling who, but basically that is what we are seeing.
Yes, indeed. And now, what are these people really doing now? Because you've been sent home, and I don't think these are the people that were earning any big high amount of money, tens of thousands of dollars a month. But these people have been targeted and they've been sent home. And some of the reasonings that we're hearing behind why some of these people have been sent home. Have you been interacting with them? Have you spoken with them? Or have you heard from people who have spoken to them how they're doing? Because we're humans, we want to know how the people that are being affected, how it's affecting them and their families.
Well, what I can tell you is that in trying to reach out to them, just to create some comfort for them, that is even creating more fear for them, in a sense, because while they are home, as I said, some of them have family members who are still engaged, and for fear that their family members may be impacted, they do not even want to be seen or even to talk too much. But some of them are looking for gainful employment. Some of them do have they're doing their own personal thing, and some of them are still employed. So that is the situation as it stands.
Mm-hmm. So some of them, they found alternative employment and so.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And just moving right along, Senator Cox, what are some of the main issues that we're seeing facing the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique right now? You never could tell. I might be coming up for Carnival, so I might see some of them myself. But what are some of the main issues that we see facing the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique?
Well, I mean, clearly there are some long-standing issues in Carriacou, which they're quite tedious, and in some cases not difficult, but it requires somebody who know how to handle them, to address them. But one of the biggest issues is the whole issue of unemployment, especially young people. And one of the things that was touted, that there was some plan for young people and employment opportunities. But my thing is, I firing somebody and giving somebody a work, that is not creating employment. That is not, you're not shifting the needle. You're just moving things around, and so the numbers basically remain the same. So that is one of the major issues that are affecting persons in Carriacou. I know that for a fact, businesses is very slow, the economic activity, and that may be an issue throughout the country as well, and not just only Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That is an issue. I mean, separating apart from that, the whole issue of what was said is clearly is not what is being done. And there's a whole lot of examples, the whole issue. We were called out for things like nepotism and all kind of things like that, but a lot of that is still ongoing, it's still happening. They are doing it, and so we can call them out for that as well. But Sheila, just to break away, the former parliamentary rep for Carriacou, she had took an initiative to get people to erect a monument in Petit Martinique, and that monument made a lot of headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I was I was taken aback to see that a similar monument was erected on mainland Grenada, but I haven't heard any outcries at all. But it would be also very interesting to know what is the cost of that monument as well. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I say this to say that some of the same things that persons have flagged us for, they have in turn take those ideas and implement them, and just seemingly being quiet as if nothing didn't happen previously. So I just wanted to flag that as an example of what has happened and continue to happen.
Yes, indeed. And folks, to those of you just joining us, I know one or two of you have just joined us, especially the Southside crew, because they start to call each other and say that, hey, look, Senator Cox on, and so everybody start to jump on.
It's a pity next to that. We're hopeful that we can have the video working next time, so at least persons can have an opportunity to see me as well while I speak.
Yes, because they didn't see you for a little while, and last time they see you, they say is in Parliament.
Yeah, I've been pretty much engaged, and I do have some personal challenges otherwise, family-wise, but we are there.
Yes. So, Senator Cox, moving right along though, and we will come back to Carriacou in a while, but I want to bring you down to Grenada on several issues that are taking place here. Recently, we've heard of the loss of funding for the Western Main Road project. I heard they sent, I tell you, I hear they sent two government ministers who weren't very impressive, and the English people and them didn't continue the thing. That's what I hear. I hear they say if it was Senator Cox that he go, that we would have still had the money and be able to do the thing. But they sent two people that wasn't very impressive, and we've lost that funding. Any comments on that one? That was something, that was a project that was under your ministry. You were the minister, the line minister in charge of that project. Give us a little rundown on your views on what has taken place and what is taking place in relation to that.
Well, it's really, really unfortunate that we lose, and it's grant money. It's basically free money. It's monies that we didn't have to pay back, and we basically lost that money. And one of the things is that I don't know why that happened. I can't give all the reasons because probably I wasn't at the meeting, but I did have a meeting with the persons from the British High Commission, a gentleman, I can't recall his name right now. He flew in from the UK. We met also officials from the Caribbean Development Bank, and when we met, they had raised concerns about timelines. But what we did, we operated in such a way, and we articulated a very clear, tight timeline how we are going to implement this project. We indicated what are the things that we're going to do to shorten the time where we can gain, especially to ensure that all the project cycles achieve success.
Senator, for some reason your voice has just gone from us there. Your voice was up here and it just gone right down.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yes. So I was just saying that we had met. I personally would have met with my team then, and we discussed how we're going to implement this project. The project had some setbacks. We did hire a contractor who failed to deliver on what he was paid to do. And he wanted to drag along the process and go to mediation. So we took a speedy decision, and with support, we informed the bank, and we severed ties with that contractor, and we hired a new consultant to move forward to get the project going. But what is also a lot of people don't know, that this project is basically geared towards ending in 2024. So you basically have almost 2 years still on that project. So I don't know what was discussed. I don't know if the persons who met with the officials knew the timeline for the project. I don't know if they understand the project cycles, what is supposed to happen, when it's going to happen. What we already had preliminary designs for the entire corridor. And this project is so important for Grenada. It is such an important project. But I'm hearing that they're planning to reimagine the road with St. Patrick's Island. Everything is reimagined. I don't want nobody reimagining my future, my kids' future. I want somebody who knows what they want to do, what the vision, what plans they have for our future. Everything is reimagined. Reimagine the youth, reimagine the Imani. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is just crazy. But it's really a travesty that we lost that project. A lot of work has gone into that. The government of Grenada would have spent a lot of money to get that project where it was, and we could have get it done. It was doable. We have significant projects that persons thought that we would not get off the ground, like the River Road project. We got it off the ground. We got it going. We started in the rainy season, and persons question, I can recall the media people questioning me why I started in the rainy season, but they didn't understand the reason why we started in the rainy season. There was, while there was some risk, there was also some clear benefits for us starting in the rainy season as well. Because, as I said, only the users find the fault of the manufacturers. So we had some discussions with contractors and we understand why we were doing that. And so there are a lot of technical stuff. And so we got it done. There are still 3 outstanding packages for the River Road project. The 2 bridges, the one by Steele's Auto, and the bridge, the humpback bridge, and the roadway. So those are the 3 packages that are still to be done. I'm very hopeful that the government do continue with that project, because what will happen is that even with the walls being done, if the humpback bridge in particular is not removed, there may be an incident of flooding, because the bridge, what happens is that the bridge is basically sitting in the midst of the river. So when the water level rises, the bridge is an obstruction in the river, and it causes the water to be distorted and to spill over on the sides. So that is the real issue. Hence the reason why the humpback bridge have to be removed and made higher so that the water can pass clear under without any obstruction. And while the steel bridge is much lower, so that will tell you why those two bridges have to be replaced. So I just wanted to raise that, but the Western Main Road, I mean, we just lose millions of grant money, free money, and I don't know, persons are trying to reimagine and indicating that that is not probably not the best way to spend that money now. That is infrastructure development.
Mm-hmm.
The integrity of infrastructure, the investment in infrastructure is critical. It helps keep your road networks sturdy and also creates economic activity and creates revenue through consumption, through VAT, which the government desperately needs right now to meet its budgetary commitments. I don't know why somebody believes that losing grant money, free money is all good and well. So maybe they may know something different than I do. But I just want to flag that.
And the other thing is the attempt to try to place every failure at the feet of the new National Party. They had a team, two government ministers, plus who knows who else, went up to Barbados, had the meeting with the various people from the British government, and came back losing the project. I mean, and then they want to blame the new National Party, considering the British knew that there was COVID. They knew that there would be delays due to COVID. They knew of that. And if you discussed it with them properly, there is the high possibility, extremely high possibility, that we would have been able to retain that particular project. And I mean, it's just a very sad situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, but look what we did, all right? And all that was part of our efforts to accelerate the Western Corridor. What we said to them was that, look, Molineau, the landslip, took place after the project was conceptualized. So here what we are going to do as government. We are going to fund Molineau. Yeah? So we are not going to ask you to come up with extra money for the slippage. We are going to fund the slippage. Get the slippage up and running, because once you get that roadway back, that will also accelerate the implementation of the Western Corridor. We allow for vehicles to move, for vehicles to traverse, equipment, machinery, supplies to traverse easily on the corridor to restore the corridor. So all this, the Molineau project is not, it wasn't accelerated by guess. That was all that was part of our discussion and our commitment as government to ensure that we are doing what we have to do from our end to ensure that the Western Corridor was implemented successfully, because we have a number of slides, a lot of landslides that take place throughout the Western Corridor when we have heavy precipitation. And so that is a risk that continues to prevail with failure of us losing that project. And so we are going to see those areas, they're going to be risky, they're going to get more and more in terms of being more high risk for persons using those areas on a daily basis. And this project was really and truly intended to resolve those shaky slopes, those slopes that were unsteady. And so we are still in basically the same position, and probably even a worse situation going forward, because we do not know when that is going to happen, if at all it's going to happen. And well, then again, it probably will take the National Party government to make that happen. That is my belief.
Let me ask this question then. Considering that we've lost that money, I want people to understand this is not just that you lost the money, but I want them to know what this project entailed. What did this project really entail going up on the West Coast?
Okay.
What was the scope of work that what was going to be done with that money?
Right. So we were going to do the entire roadway from the Kirani Jane Stadium all the way to Waltham, the St. Mark's Secondary School. I think there were 16 kilometers of roadway. We are going to do all bridges that needed to be redo or built. We are going to do all drainage. The road were going to be widened in areas that were narrowed, and all slopes that were unstable, they were going to be stabilized. on the entire 16 kilometers of road. That is, in essence, the scope of works
So in a
for,
lot of
for that
those
project.
lot of those areas that we have the rockfall, like when you're going around by Goat Pen, you see there's some serious
Yeah,
rockfall that takes place there. Other areas just outside St. Mark, there's some serious rockfall that takes place in those areas as well. All of this was part of the scope of work to fix those, to
all of
deal
that.
with those.
Yes, yes. As I say, from the Carriacou Athletic Stadium all the way, the project terminates at the Waltham at the secondary school in St. Mark's.
Wow. And we've lost that.
We lost that major project, major project.
Senator, another project you've already spoken about the River Road project and the scope with that River Road project. So right now we know the bridges. You have to have the bridges done and all of that with the River Road project for it to be properly completed. I'm also seeing, and I have been seeing for several months now, the continuation of work on the traffic lights. Now I know that
So,
you had mentioned the traffic light in a press conference. I can't remember if it's in 2021 or 2022, but you had been
yeah,
speaking about the traffic light. Give us a background on the traffic lights, where it ought to have been right now. Give us a little rundown on the traffic light program.
okay. Well, the traffic lights, as you know, that the traffic lights they became antiquated and they were time for them to be replaced. So we sent out a request for proposal, and we had three companies submitted. We went with a company from Trinidad. I forgot the call. So they were charged with the responsibility of installing traffic lights. Mainly looking at
Senator, for some
yeah.
reason your voice is going and come back
Okay,
like
sorry
the
about that.
like the waves.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So we were attempting to reinstall, do over all the traffic lights, and so all the existing infrastructures that were there had to be removed. That was part of the scope. So we're going to do lights in town, of course, by Tropicana area, down at Pandy, down in Granance, down Radisson, those areas, those critical areas, those high traffic areas. And the main reason for that is because, I mean, obviously the amount of vehicles that we have, the traffic need to be controlled. Even myself, at one point in time, I nearly ran over somebody who was crossing the pedestrian crossing down at Food Fair and Radisson. So I know the risk, because vehicles coming from all around, and so you're trying to pay attention to the vehicles and not paying attention to somebody who's crossing the pedestrian crossing. So that became an issue. And even there and then I realized that, look, we need to get this done. So what had to happen, that you have to do the traffic study. So that was done, the traffic study was done, data was done. Then they have to run the modules based on the frequency of the traffic at certain points, whether or not it makes sense having a traffic light there. And if you're putting one there, what is the time, what time you're going to set it at, how quickly it's going to change. So all those studies were done first. And we had a meeting, so that they presented the findings, and we had some discussions around that, and then we make some final decisions and as to what we go in with. And then also all the infrastructure had to be manufactured, the lights, everything had to be manufactured. So it's a new project, new system. We didn't put in the red light cameras, but what we did, we put in the infrastructure so that going forward, once Greater could afford it, it was very expensive to put in the cameras for if persons run the red light. It was quite expensive. So we left that component out. But however, what we did, we put in the infrastructure. So all that's required going forward is just purchase the cameras and just put them in. So we did that in forward thinking to ensure that we get good use from that system. But when I did listen last, I think one of the post-cabinet briefings indicated that the project was supposed to be completed in December of last year, and we in February. So I guess as much they're probably getting a good sense as to what projects are and how dynamic it is, and how implementation of those projects at times can run away from you if not clearly looked at. So I saw them working recently, so they're probably not far. They're probably about 2 or 3 months out. So maybe between now and say May, June, we should see those lights up and running. That is my estimation. It could be before, but I know those things are they're very technical, because even after you install them, you have to do a lot of tests. You have to run them to see how they go. Sometimes you have issues with fluctuating current and things like that. So a number of things have to be done before those lights are up. But we look forward to see that project come to fruition. It's important for the safety of traffic users on the mainland in Grenada.
Yes, and I'm hoping that it happens sooner rather than later. And I'll tell you why. When you're coming down to the carnival season, it's a point in time when people tend to drive kind of crazy. You have people that coming back. They may not remember that the traffic light is up. All that kind of craziness does take place, especially after having been without the traffic lights for an extended period of time. And right after carnival, in 2 weeks' time, you have the reopening of school, which is another situation all in itself. So I'm hoping that the traffic lights are completed sooner rather than later, so that people get accustomed to it, we get used to it, and so on, so that it could control the flow of traffic. Were there any plans to? I know you spoke about the issue of running the red light and the cameras for that. Was there anything that was considered there for a further broadening of the traffic light project? The traffic lights. I know I saw the young ladies and the young men different locations taking notes, and so for the traffic flow and so. But was anything envisioned for expanded?
No. If you saw any other activity, that is for physical road infrastructure work, physical work. We also do that as well when we are looking at doing roadways, like for example on the cliff area. You saw that area where we have that road break in there. We also had that done to do as well, because what you need to do in terms of knowing what integrity in terms of the road infrastructure have to be, you have to know the flow of traffic and what size of vehicle that pass there and how frequent on a daily basis, and that will inform the architects to design appropriately so that you don't have any failure of that roadway going forward in years to come. So sometimes when you see persons doing that work, it's not just for the traffic lights alone, but it's also for forward planning in terms of infrastructure work to be done.
Okay. Now, outside of the traffic light projects, we know there were one or two other projects, but even though we've already spoken about the Western Main Road project, I want you to zero in on the Molineau project now and give us a little rundown, because I realize some people went there and they do all kind of opening ceremony, like if they are the ones that secure funding and do plans and everything, and they are the ones that get contractors to do the Molineau project. So I just want you to give us a quick rundown now on the Molineau project in specific, because while I think that was integrated afterwards as part of the Western Main Road project, that in itself was a separate something. So give us a little rundown on the Molineau project.
Well, as you know, that the Molineau project happened after we had the Western Corridor project already in place, and really and truly, I want to really thank the people of the Molineau area who really see with us and bear with us, and those who are impacted, who have lost property. It's difficult for them, and nobody knows than them they're impacted by this. And so we move speedily to have.
Senator Cox, we've lost you there.
We had one of the best. Yeah, we had one of the region's top architect who came in, and geologists who came in and did the necessary work and design for that project. And that project, we were really pushing. Actually, if you recall, we were really pushing to give our Grenadian contractors an opportunity to implement that project. And two reasons. Well, basically, one main reason why we were much Grenadian contractors didn't participate in the tendering. And it wasn't a bad thing, it was a good thing in the sense that they were already engaged with numerous work otherwise, so they were exposed financially. So having to go and tender for that project now would render them basically capable of implementing the project in terms of cash flow and so that was one of the reasons why, because we were doing so much work at the time. Because if you see in River Road, we have two local contractors who have done a fantastic job so far on River Road, and we try to do everything that we can to ensure that we give our local contractors an opportunity. And I recall at some point in time somebody tried to create some issue as if the ministry were not looking for local contractors, and that was far from the truth. We have done everything to support our local contractors in every way possible. I mean, and they know, so I don't have to say much about that. So we did all this, and then basically we had tenders came in. We selected a contractor. A contract was signed, and what was unfortunate about the sword turning ceremony is what the normal principal thing to do is that whenever you have such activity in somebody's constituency, the parliamentary rep for the area, I mean, ought to have been invited. Ought to invited to give some remarks as well. He is a parliamentary rep, and I think it was I don't know if it was an error. I give them the benefit of the doubt, but it was in Portis that you go into somebody's constituency, a project that they had started, and you go and commission it. I mean, I recall in Carriacou here, sometime in 2008, when at the time Senator George Prime was opening the fish market. He did the principal thing by inviting the parliamentary rep at the time, Honorable Elvin G. Nimrod, who started the project, to come to the opening of the project and to make a few remarks. That is the principal thing to do from a parliamentary standpoint. And so I've seen that there was a serious breakdown in that parliamentary respect and principle. I don't know if it's a lack of knowledge or so, but that was not nice at all. And then there was this talk about nothing wasn't done. And listen, Sheila, let me tell you something. A project of that nature, you can't come in 2 or 3 months and say you're ready to you because you come now that where the project goes. This is crazy. The amount of stuff that you have to do to get to that point, to get to a contract to sign. Persons who understand projects and implementation and project cycle would tell you. You just can't come in a few months' time and say because you come that's where the project starts. No, this is in a sense, because of, I mean, we had the election, there was a delay in the transition of the administration, and that delay is what really kept the project back. So I don't know where persons got that impression that they come and I mean, that was just floozy stuff in my mind. That's all I can say.
No, I'm trying to figure out here if I'm remembering correctly, but was the landslip outside of Guave tied into the Western Main Road project or tied in as part of the project that
everything, every unstable slope on the Western Corridor from the stadium to St. Mark's Secondary School was part of the Western Corridor project. Every single slope. Every single unstable slope.
Okay. Yes, folks. So we're speaking with Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox, and we've been speaking about some of the projects because the impression some people giving you right now, you'd believe that these projects are new projects. You'd believe that these projects are projects that have just come about and are new things.
Well, it's new to them, so that's why they may think it is new. So it's new to them. But I also want to touch further, Sheila, on the lighting, and you mentioned the guys in the lines, and that is one of this administration proud. I mean, when I passed and I saw the poles up in Springs and the poles to light those playing fields up in the limes, I mean, I was so happy, so elated to know that was part of a process, part of a team to bring that much needed of development to do those playing fields. Unfortunately, I understand that the water on the 1-4 from 1-2. So 1-2 playing field, unfortunately, may not be lit. I don't know if they'll change their mind, but I understand they pull the project on that. Go to Las Vegas, I mean, I was so when I saw hardball cricket playing under the lights in the night in Las Vegas. I mean, I felt really good to know that I was part of a team with Oliver Joseph at the time, who was the minister and the parliamentary rep then, to bring that to Las Vegas. I mean, I'm very, very happy. And some comment was made that NNP give us a set of contracts to light playing field as if it's Christmas. Yes, it is Christmas. I'm saying yes, it is Christmas. It is Christmas for all the athletes. It is Christmas for all the cricketers, the footballers. It is Christmas for them. And so that is what we wanted. We want to bring Christmas for them year round. So whoever made that comment, I'm saying yes, it is Christmas. So I'm very pleased. I think I see they're doing they installed the poles in Carriacou here this week in Harveyville. That was part of Harvey was part of the group of projects as well. Those fields in Northeast, in Tempe. I mean, it's really, really, really good to see that we are able to do that. And a lot of people don't understand why we are doing this. I mean, those initiatives, they are transformational initiatives in terms of development of sports. I mean, let me just say something. I know that I'm probably almost out of time, but let me say something.
Now, Senator Cox, they are not like you're out of time. Not talk, brother, talk.
No, because, supporters, I want to say supporters of the New National Party. The National Party is a great organization. We have a beautiful history in terms of development and service to this country. And we should not in any way be flustered by anybody trying to diminish our achievement, what we would have achieved, the development. I mean, when you check the slower doctors, I know some of my classmates, family members, were able to benefit from scholarships. I mean, we have done a remarkable job. Sheldon, to sum it up, your National Party is number one. I think that is the only way to sum it up.
Yes. I want you sum yet, man. You're summing song like you're going. You ain't going yet. You go and give TGS now.
I'm really passionate. I think at this point in time, I just want to really commend all the colleagues who work along with me, and of course, our political leader then and now, who have really steered the ship. Yes, we would have had mistakes. We would have made errors along the way. But in totality, what we would have achieved, especially during COVID, I mean, it's remarkable. It's remarkable, and sometimes people seem to forget what we would have achieved in COVID, not just keeping the nation safe, but also what we would achieve in terms of being able to pay all our civil servants who are home for months, meet all our commitments with the international community, and also do all the infrastructure work to ensure that the country continue to take over. I mean, after your first budget, you're barely scrambling to pay salaries after your first month. I mean, come on. I mean, how could that measure? How could that measure up to an administration? Let me say one more thing, Sheldon. I really want to say one more thing.
No one. I have other questions for you. I ain't going yet. I just letting you talk. But
I just want to say that one of the things that I believe that I want to blame us for is that we made governing this country look so easy. And so to stand there and come in and the figure, it's easy peasy. But now they realize that is not the case. Because of our competencies. And we understand, and not only that too, the passion that we have and the love that we have for people, it makes our job easy.
Senator Cox,
makes our job easy.
You want me give you a joke? I ain't calling no minister name, right? I ain't calling no former minister name, but let me give you a joke. There was one minister, came to work one morning and she started to work and there was a particular national event that was happening and they were planning the event and so. And that minister left the office probably around 3 a.m. Around 3 a.m., right? They got home. And the minister ended up coming back to work the next morning in the same clothes. They don't. The next morning, I saw the minister. I said, "Wait, now, minister, now." They just tell me,
That's commitment.
yo, hey,
Commitment.
leave me,
Yeah.
because they're so
Yeah.
committed that they went home.
Commitment. Yeah.
They went home,
Commitment.
and by the time they didn't even get to go to bed, like they just fall asleep on the couch and they get up and back to this office the next morning. And that is why some people don't realize what ministers who really know what they're about, because not everybody, somebody might carry the name minister but not really be a minister in the fullest sense. They might have some technocrats running a ministry and they just go and they sign off on everything. But there are some people that are really ministers that guide the process. And sometimes you get out of the office 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning is when you're just getting to leave, especially when there's something taking place on the national level of great importance. And especially when it's to benefit the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique in a significant way, you can't leave anything to chance. You've got to do what you've got to do. And as you said, I think NNP made it look easy to govern. Some people learning now.
Yeah. I think that is probably one of the things that would have really make people believe that it's easy and we just will get it done. I mean, and you see the whole bunch of missteps and it's just unnecessary persons are making. And I think I kind of get a sense as to why that is happening.
Your voice has gone now, so we're not hearing you.
I get a sense as to yes.
Yeah, your voice was going. Your voice took like your voice went over to Petit Martinique for a minute. There, you come back now.
Yeah, I get a sense as to why some persons, why some ministers are doing what they're doing. Persons don't understand that you're holding an office. The office is not you. It is not about you. It will never ever be about you, individual. It is always about the office. Someone has held that office before you on several occasions, and someone will hold it after you. So you have to know that you're performing a role, and it's not about you. And I think a lot of persons want to make it about them, and they are making some serious unforced errors. And so I don't know, persons they get carried away.
Well, Senator Cox, I hear people complaining that they only have $2 in their bank account. That I don't know if they're trying to say that the people. No, but I'm telling you this because I think they're trying to say two things. They're trying to say that one.
You want me to tell you a joke?
I'm listening because I like to laugh. So tell me.
No comment.
I just know how to make a man crack up.
No comment. I have no comment to make on that. Yeah, I don't.
But I'm telling you. So I'm saying it in two ways. As you know, a large part of my family resides on the island of Carriacou, are from the island of Carriacou, and even if you check Brooklyn, a large part of my family that lives there originated and were born, neighbor Stringberry, everything in Carriacou. So I find it very disrespectful when you try to give the impression that Carriacou people beggy. And if you say that, you get your salary and you only end up with $2 in it because you had to do this for that person and that for that person, and so it gives the impression that Carriacou people beggy, and Carriacou and Petit Martinique people are some of the most independent people I know.
I don't know, but I could recall clearly utterances were made as getting constituency allowance and tralala and but what we have seen is that when the new administration took office, they realized what the salary was, and so they felt that it wasn't enough, so they decided to pay themselves an extra $2,000. So I think that in itself speaks a whole lot, as to who is really committed, which administration is really committed to this. So if you come in and the first thing you do is to pay yourself more and you say you're serving, I don't know. And now it seems like there is a call for constituency allowance or some more money. The
Yeah.
person be
Um,
looking, they might be looking to pay themselves some more money, so be watching to see how it goes. While at the same time, persons who are in dire need of extra finances, we see their uh, chunk is being severed.
mhm.
In particular, the people on the seed program who really and truly, I mean, I don't know. I really can't understand why someone would want to do that. I mean, I just can't fathom it.
And I know that you have sent out a release calling on the administration to return the funds to the people. And I know people
Yes, I
went to
did.
get the seed today. And I'm telling you, Senator, some people went to get a seed today and was sent back. Because imagine you already are in desperate need of these funds, and now they're telling you they're doing it by letter your name. So some people went down today only to be told, and I'm talking about elderly people here in their 70s, 80s, and so could barely walk, barely even have the money to pay the bus to come to town, came to collect their
I'm
money and
glad
were
you
told,
raised
come
that.
back tomorrow.
Right, I'm glad you raised that because I recall sometime during the budget debate, some utterances were made that we literally left our senior citizens in the rain. But children, I recall being in cabinet when the Honorable Pamela Moses came with a pilot program to have feed persons receive their payment. They wouldn't have to come out or have to go to any physical location to receive it. So when I hear announcements for this be made as if it's something new, I mean I just smile. I really didn't get a chance to respond to it when I was in the parliament. But as you mentioned it now, I just wanted to flag that to say that that was untrue. We were already on the ball. We were the ones who piloted that program. Senator Minister Moses came to the cabinet for permission to roll that program out. Yeah,
Mhm.
just want to indicate that.
Yeah, because I'm also hearing some complaints by various people today that they're getting less money. And I'm not talking about the removal of the 150 alone now, but that even with the removal of the 150, what they're supposed to get, they're not getting. And in my view, I don't think it's that it was reduced. I think that it's being passed through a financial institution and they're taking their fees, which was one of the things you were trying to avoid with the methodology of how it was being done before. Once it's sent
Definitely.
to specific banks, the $100 becomes $75. And that
Yeah,
is
but
what happened to many people that went to collect their seed payments today. They found that it was significantly reduced because it was passed through some of the financial institutions who are taking their fees out of it. Not that it was cut further, but due to how it's being given, it's reduced the amount even further.
yeah, but I think that they have misled senior citizens. They have misled the youth, and they continue to mislead the country. People have to pay attention. Um, don't I mean you have to recall it just a few months ago. I mean they said that contract work is illegal and everyone will be made permanent. Vote for that. And now contracts have been issued and I maintain my stand on that the whole issue of establishing a new ministry was unnecessary. It was not required. And we'll see. I mean, I said in Parliament, we'll see whether or not uh, that decision really makes a difference in implementation. Because why? We do have a baseline in terms of past implementation rates to measure. So let's see how it goes going forward.
Well, I see one of the commenters here saying now instead of boots on the ground, it seems to be sandals on the ground right now. So I don't know. It seems to have changed from boots on the ground to sandals on the ground. I don't know what's taking place. But you did mention a while ago, and I know that is something that is being discussed and has been discussed. In fact, in Parliament, the Prime Minister himself, Minister of Finance, raised that issue of creating a constituency allowance. So further money to be given to MPs. So once you're an MP, you're allotted a certain amount of money for works within your constituency. And in my mind, That sounds a lot like local government. That sounds as though you're trying to implement local government without implementing local government, because you're sending the funds directly to the constituency. If you implement local government, then that would be the layer that you send those funds to do whatever projects in a constituency. And then how do you decide that Carriacou gets less than St. David, or that St. Mark should not get the same amount as St. John? How do you make that decision?
That
So
is far
there's a
from
lot of
local government.
questions.
That is very very far from local government. And one of the challenges with that is the whole issue of accountability. How are you going to account for those monies? And we are hearing that is what the government officials saying, that some of the constituency offices are not even operational as yet.
Mm.
And some of them, they are not functioning properly. They're not fully staffed. That is what was said by a senior government person. So I'm just only repeating what I heard. Yeah. So you have to have the structures in place when you're dispensing monies, because it has to be accounted for. It is state funds. It will have to be accounted for. So if those infrastructures are not in place, then you have another problem on your hand. That monies have been spent and you cannot be accounted for.
And also, the monies are to be spent on specific projects. Now, these projects are projects that are more than likely already in train from an existing ministry that already has a budget.
Well, not necessarily, because this what they're putting forward is something similar to our special projects, where a constituency is allowed a certain amount of a budgetary sum to do small projects within the constituency. The constituency office would deal with the necessary work, the logistic work in terms of engaging the contractors and so. But the Ministry of Infrastructure is the one who oversees the implementation of that project, and not the constituency, because they do not have the competencies in terms of the engineers and so or road officers to oversee the project. So that is how it is done. I do hope that the Ministry of Infrastructure would have such oversight, because you're going to have serious problems. Because based on the policy that is announced, that we only give in our people work, you will give somebody who cannot do the work, and then you have serious challenges on your hand going forward. So that is something that they have to look at.
Well, two more before you go, Minister, because we're coming up on the hour very quickly. We're coming up on the hour. The first one is a question on an issue that I raised last night on this program. We heard the Honorable Minister of Sport. I know that's a position that you held prior, Sport, Youth and Sport, speaking to the hiring of an individual. During his budget presentation, he made direct reference. The only thing he didn't give was the name, but he said that the Ministry of Youth would have a new youth coordinator, a female youth coordinator. So it seems as though they already identified the individual, or they have decided that males need not apply. Because while that was said on the 8th of December, this week we've seen coming out a document that's asking for people to apply for the job. Do you usually announce who taking a position before you advertise it? You've been in government.
No. Well, what I can tell you, that there are some positions that I don't even participate in, because of the nature of the position. What we normally would do, we recruit key people who have historical knowledge of the area, of the sector, and who would know who would best fit based on the needs of what we have to do. So you don't want to interfere with some of those processes, because what you will do, you'll only create further problems for you going forward. Because when you're looking for results, when you're looking for work to be done, it wouldn't happen if you don't have the right person there who knows what needs to be done. So it's a very tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing when you're at a position to know what to interfere and what not to get involved with. Sometimes it's better you leave the process to go, you oversee it, and you ensure that the steps are followed, the criteria are followed, and then the best person is chosen. So that is what I found to be very successful, and hence the reason why I was able to get certain things done. But my colleague, Minister Redhead, um, we had our engagement at the Senate level, and so um, all I can say is that I'm just looking at, we haven't, we met a couple times, but we have not had any detailed discussions on his performance thus far. I choose not to raise that. I give him an opportunity. He has an opportunity to perform, and I don't think not so much me to judge, but his constituents in terms of the people in sports and the various organization institutions, they're the ones who will have to assess whether or not he fits the bill in terms of what they're looking for in terms of moving sports and culture in Grenada. I presume I may see him in Carriacou sometime over this weekend. He frequents Carriacou for whatever reason, I don't know. But I may I believe that I may see him in Carriacou sometime during the course of this carnival weekend. Um, but
Mm-hmm. And you might
um,
have one question for you before we close. Huh? Yeah, so go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So I I I just want to say that I believe I'm very concerned that the Department of Youth um, they are going to see some challenges going forward. That is my own assessment of what is happening, because the real decision that the government wants to make on the Department of Youth, they have been curtailed from a political standpoint. But you will see some more movements there. I believe that the department will be severed to some extent, um, because of a couple other things, finance and other things were challenges in that regard. So I don't know what will happen with some of those programs, like the Fly, like the Empower programs, those programs that have been so impactful. Those programs may be cut going forward. So
Mm-hmm.
we're watching and see. Yeah, we're watching and see.
Well, we've already heard of people under the Fly program, I believe it is, being sent home, and so we've already got some information in relation to that. But my final question for you tonight is about the asphalt program that took place under your watch. We
Yeah.
see a serious reduction when we look at budget 2023 as opposed to budget 2022. We realize there's a significant decrease in the amount of money placed under the asphalt program. Do you think that was a wise decision by the present administration to reduce the amount of money under the asphalt program, considering the deterioration we are seeing in the roads in various areas?
Well, it's well, I could say probably yes, it might be a wise decision for them because, or no, wise in the sense that if they budget more, that it seems like because they have challenges, it seems like they have cash flow challenges, so they are looking to see where they can save. And we have made that we have said it over and over. The particularly have said it that when you're running a government, it's entirely different. You just don't get up in the morning and start to spend money crazy. You have to understand the money must come from somewhere.
Your voice has gone again.
Yeah, you have to understand that the money must come from somewhere to pay for the services. So you just don't get up in the morning and start spending money willy nilly because you come and you meet a few dollars there. Understanding what current expenses that is or recurrent expenses that are there to be met. I recall there was one radio, I don't know, radio, Facebook, how to put it, person who advocate for the NDC. And he was making a big hula hoo about a few potholes in the road during our time because we were having some pressures and challenges because of COVID, the whole issue of logistics and getting supply. The whole supply chain was messed up, and we had difficulties getting asphalt products in Grenada, and so that was putting some pressures on us in responding to the road maintenance. But now, until then, I am not seeing potholes. I'm seeing craters in the roadways. one guy said to me, one guy vehicle dropping one of the potholes and his two front wheels just popped out. So he said that is not potholes, but it's craters. What
All
will
right.
happen is that you're going to see more. You're going to see more potholes or more craters come up in the roadway because there is less ability, less capacity for the Ministry of Infrastructure to implement in terms of decent road maintenance work. Once you have less supplies, obviously less work is going to be done, and you have increasing vehicle traffic.
Senator, for some reason we're not hearing you. You're speaking now, but we're
Yeah.
not really hearing you. I don't. Are you using a Bluetooth device also?
No, I'm not. I'm
Oh,
not.
I don't know because
Yeah,
for some reason
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just coming and going.
yeah.
I don't know why.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but yeah, sometimes the internet does give challenges
Oh, okay. Yeah.
on Carriacou. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. So I have a clear understanding of that now. We know this weekend, big weekend for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. I
yeah,
know Petit Martiniquans coming down, even though they have the Whitsuntide thing coming up. I know they're coming
yeah,
down for
yeah.
Carriacou Carnival, and Grenadians are coming up. I'm seeing several flights coming in. I live close to the airport, and I
Yeah,
see real Carriacou
yeah,
people passing through.
yeah.
So,
Let me just say quickly on Pidimanic. We had an opportunity to visit Pidimanic about 2 weeks ago on the Independence weekend to get some lovely Pidimanic car down and to just chit chat with persons out there to get a sense of what is taking place. So that was very good. That was my first trip to here. And additionally, in terms of the carnival, I had an opportunity to attend some of the events. The most recent one I went to was on Sunday. They had the Kids Soca Monarch Foundation, which was a really inaugural event, and I really want to commend the organizers for putting it forward. And what we've seen is some excellent young talented male and female singers, and so those that give an opportunity for growth and continuity for Calypso and the art form and the Carriacou and the mainland. So I think it was a good thing. It was well attended. Carriacou supported. So Queen show tomorrow as well. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it as yet. Because I say because I do have my own personal challenges. I give whatever support that I can to ensure that those events go up because this is Carriacou. We all have to invest in Carriacou to ensure uh, that everybody benefits. And so I wish the Carnival committee all the best in hosting those successes and ensure that persons who come that we do have a safe and peaceful carnival. I think that is what we all want. Nobody wants to have any incident or accident at all.
all right. So, Senator Cox, we'd like to thank you so very much for taking the time out to join us tonight. I know it has been wonderful having you here. I know the South Side is inside because all of them, they're listening. The South Side are inside. Give a final word to them and then we gone.
Yeah, as I said, the South is a very special place. I think that they missed an excellent opportunity in a representative in me. I think, but as I say, God plan is not man plan. But they know what I would have done in a short time frame, and so at least they can speak to it. But I really love the South and great plans for the South, excellent plans. I think that are still would be required to be implemented because I don't see whoever is they have that vision to do that to understand why those things have to be done. So we see how things go. But for now, I'm here home in Carriacou and Peter Matnick, and it's excellent. It's wonderful to be home. So it's good. It's all good.
All right. So thank you so very much, Senator Cox, and we'll
It's my
ensure that we
pleasure.
have you on video the next time. Nice. Okay.
Certainly.
Yes, indeed. You enjoy the rest of your night, sir.
Yes, and thank you. It's a pleasure to be on. I just want to commend you on your program and continue to touch on those issues. As the program theme is talking points. Those are the points that are critical for this country's development, and we have to speak on them. And I just want to close on that saying, the National Party we are number one. So supporters, guys, don't feel any way down that we are not in government. This is our time to recalibrate and recoup and to come back and to make Grenada great again.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Senator. And folks, we have been speaking there with Senator, the Honorable Nolan Cox. Yeah, we've been speaking with the man himself there, Senator, the Honorable Nolan Cox. Let me run a little tune there while I just put everything in place here again. Nice. Let me see. And because I had him in on the line, I was unable to take calls while I had him on there. So I'm very sorry about that. But we're gonna ensure that we have him on the Zoom the next time around. All right, we're gonna make sure. I promise you all that. Nice.
Stuck with minimum wage, we now move.
We have roughly about 29 minutes remaining on tonight's program.
During the prison time, more the people procreate.
I'm making sure that I keep the phone lines open, and tomorrow night we have a lot of things to talk about.
To make the man on the ground, him now screw face, him now and the phone let the dollar come down to the.
I find out, like, all you're going on in the chat room there, you know.
Say we were born.
Here's what I want: all of you who are on the Facebook Live right now to like the live. I want you to go and click the like button. Yes, the like or the love button. Go and hit either one of them. All of you who are on the live right now, make sure you go and you do that. Let's hit the phone line. Good night.
Good night, children.
Hey, night, bro. How are you?
Good, man.
All right, go right ahead.
There's a burning issue out here. The treatment that the Haitians receive. Whether the decision of the present administration was right or wrong. But what I'm getting, Sheldon, from friends here and abroad is that the decision put Grenada in a sort of bad spotlight. When we talk about when one of the justification is that it would put a strain on the purse of the government, and that didn't sound right at all. It didn't sound good at all. It sounded like Grenada is a sort of strap for cash country, a country that is Grenada sound even more poor than Haiti, and he didn't put us in a good light, and a lot of people did not take the justification in the manner how these people was, had to be sent back. When he said that they're waiting on a flight to, looking for a flight to send them out. David Redder repented for the Caribbean in a song just a few years ago when he said, Haiti, we sorry, we misunderstood you. And, me as a human being and dealing with a human being and the dignity of human being, I thought we as Grenadians, and I say we, would have a better or a different approach in how we deal with Haitian refugees or people who trying to get political asylum here or what from Haiti. I thought we would have a different approach. This one that goes down there, I don't have all the facts on it. Who are these people? What type of the historical background, or in the sense of if they was involved in any crime or whatsoever. But however, how it sounds, it's put Grenada in a bad spot. Like it put Grenada like we didn't show love to we brother. Right now, that country, hate is ripping it apart. People lives scared for their life, and they're running, and they're looking for a safe haven. And I think Grenada should have been showing that kind of empathy to these people. Grenada should be as a place where we can take in hundreds of them. We understand that, but we could take the little that we could take, and we could say, look, this is what we could take, and this is what we cannot take. But the way it sounds, Sheldon, it sounds like Grenada was getting rid of your own brother. We're just getting rid of them.
Right, it was 15, so we could have put one per constituency.
Yeah, it doesn't sound. It put us so bad. Sheldon, people call me from out and telling me, what happened to Grenada? What happened to us? How we treat the Haitians? We sound like we treating the Haitians he didn't put us in a good spotlight at all. And I think that is not, Jesus Christ said, whatever you do to the least of them, he did it for me. And I don't think we show that Christian love. And I don't think we had accept them as a human being with that dignity. It's our rights to refuse them. It's our rights, but also our understanding, that compassion, to understand that they are human beings and always treat the human with dignity. I didn't think that the decision gives the justice as a Caribbean nation, or the love. It didn't show that kind of love as a Caribbean nation to be fellow Haitian brothers. Thank you, Shola.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. And folks, the phone number 440-7377. Yeah, 440-7377 so that you can call in. I know one of the listeners, they were just asking for the marketing board document. Yeah, well, I think I was just joking. No, I had the marketing board document. Yeah, yeah. The marketing board document, yeah, there it is. You all can see exactly what I'm speaking about. So again, I am saying to all of you who are presently working with the Marketing and National Importing Board, ignore this document. Ignore it. Yeah, don't let them hold all you with this voluntary separation nonsense. Your union should inform you better. I hope they have. I hope they did their duty and they informed you all not to fall for this thing. All right, so you're seeing the document from the Marketing and National Importing Board. The board of directors have sent this out apparently through the human resource manager. So remember, this is not the human resource manager doing that. They have a job to do. They've been told to do this, so they're doing it. So don't blame the human resource manager. This is a directive of either the board or the government that's trying to deny these workers their just due. Because if they fall for this and they take voluntary separation and their name goes onto that list, they're going to offer them all kind of thing. They're going to guarantee them you won't get a job again. They're going to guarantee them that they could get their money this week and go. They're going to guarantee them all sorts of things just to get out of paying them the quantum of money that they have to pay them. And we have to be careful with that. All right, we have a call on the line. Good night.
Well, I just want to say
Good night, Good night, Sheldon.
Good night.
I'm wondering how this happened, but I seem to have two people on at the same time.
Yeah.
Hello, Cami.
I just think good night to Senator Cox.
Okay.
I sit and I listen to you, sir. Good night.
Cami, give me a call back in 2 minutes because it seems I don't know how this happened, but I have two people on the line.
Good night,
so let me see.
Miss Louise. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, hello? Hello?
Yes, Sheldon. Yes, Sheldon. Good night.
Good night. Yes, go right ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Sheldon, I would like to make a personal plea to the Grenadians in the diaspora, in particular New York City, Brooklyn. Sheldon, on the issue of the 15 Haitians that was sent back, and now we're hearing something different. They was not sent back, but whichever way, it's not humane. And the reason why I want to make that personal plea to Grenadian national in the diaspora, there are a number of medical institutions here in New York City that Haitian nationals work. And these people are very, very generous. And in the way they deal with other nationals, sometimes who are not able to meet the criteria of some things. And I know a lot of Grenadians who reside in the diaspora here benefit from that. So I would like to make that personal appeal to these people who benefit from it. Now's the time to speak up. Let your Prime Minister know that you and the Haitians that in New York City here are like brothers and sisters. They do look out for you when you come up short. They are there for you. So now's the time to speak on their brothers and sisters' behalf. I want to say to these people, to keep your voice, to withhold your tongue now, is to look at the same people who've been helping you out. Is it's like you don't care. You understand? So now is the time that you need to let our Prime Minister know that you've been getting help. And many of them, they've been getting help from the medical institution. And who's been helping them? Haitian nationals, because of the position they're in. So I'd like to appeal to Grenadian nationals who know that they're benefiting from those programs. Please, say a word to the Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Alan.
Yes, indeed. And the response I'm seeing on Cami, give me the call back. The response that I'm seeing on the international stage, the responses that I'm seeing under various stories in various countries, I'm saying that a lot of what they say I can't put up during this program because the language, let's just say it's not the King's English. Well, it is the King's English, but the type that you don't use in decent circles. Yeah? So, you used to say the Queen's English. No, it's the King now. Yeah, it's not the King's English. So, you have to be very careful with some of that. But I'm telling you, when you look on Twitter and you look on Facebook and then you look on some of the websites or some of the regional newspapers and so, in the comment section and what is being said, I mean, it's amazing. Call a good night.
You call back for me?
Yes, ma'am. No, you didn't get to finish earlier. Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, this man that just called from America there, mister, if you were close to me, I would have given you a big chicken. Now is the time for them to still have what they spread. A lot of them spread, sir. The Prime Minister, Dick Mitchell, as Prime Minister of this country, not listening to nobody. He's not listening. I can understand, sir, how you could send back people that running from what's going on in the country. You know how much Grenadians, when we had disaster in this country, you know how much Haitian people that send down things in container for Grenada. And Haitian is good people. I have one Haitian man on the bus terminal that then Grenada is. That man, Papi, is a nice man. That man has helped people. A shame. I am telling you, a shame. They are speaking out as a bunch of hypocrites in this country. A shame they spread. Not even the ministers. Even the ministers in this government, the women, nobody just stand up and say, Mr. Prime Minister, they have a voice. Mr. Prime Minister, we can't do that. Very holy people here still. I would even help one. Give them a lodging. Because with good people, there is good people in Grenada. I don't hear none of the pastors. Speaking out on the behalf of the Haitian women and them people they send back. What accosted Grenada? Accosted Grenada. And he have some people in Grenada that will call out a radio station and say all kind of things. I want them to know they have families in all over the world. And you don't know what's going to happen. God say, the word of God say, see people, see them. I don't understand. You don't hear no group, women group, come out and say nothing. They spread it, they call him baby Jesus. And they blaspheme against the Holy Spirit. So all what you see going on there is a cause that take we little country. A cause, Papa God have put a hand. They can't do me nothing because I don't fear man. And I speaking out. I can't use some big words like some of them, but I'm speaking out. I remember what Martin Luther said. I'm fighting for my country till the last breath leave me. Under Dr. Keith Claudius Mitchell, Grenadian, that would have never happened. Dr. Mitchell would have found a way to help these people.
Well, Cammy, strange enough, huh? Cammy,
Good night.
I was listening. No, hold. I was listening to an interview that was done by Mr. Peter Wickham and Callistra Faria. And Kalisha Faria was saying that she believes that if Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell was in office, that would have never happened. He would have ensured that these people were sorted out, they were here, they were safe, everything.
She said that.
And yeah, she did say that. And Peter Wickham also said the same thing. He agreed that had it been Dr. Mitchell, that would never have been a case that you just basically you kick these 15 people out.
Well, she feeling the pinch too, you know.
I think the wrong 15 people get kicked out of Grenada, but that's just my view.
No, you can't do that. I just been looking at the news, international news, and you see what's going on in Haiti. And women in Grenada that have group. You don't hear nobody say nothing.
All right.
My God.
Kami, we're running out of time.
Man have that kind of heart.
But
I
Kami,
won't lie to the nation. I won't lie. Sometimes when I see that man and me TV, I just stick the TV.
Kami,
Something is not right with that man.
but we're running out of time, so we have to cut it here.
Good night, Grenada.
All right, my
Miss
dear.
Louise, good night. Good night, Miss Louise.
All right.
In Marigodi.
Okay.
She always listen.
Nice.
Tell and Scott,
Good night.
do not call back for me, you know.
Yes, I know.
Anyhow, good night, darling.
All right, my dear.
Good night.
Good night. Good
And
night.
everybody, good night, Mr. Watt, Patty. I know you listening.
Yeah, Sheldon.
Good night to everybody.
Good night.
Mr. Amidi.
All right.
A pleasant good night to you, man. Just a quick one, brother.
Yeah, we only have about 2 or 3 minutes left. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Listen, I believe that the Honorable Nolan Cox had really done a good job tonight because and there you recognize that he spoke about a team, not just him, you know.
Yeah,
and that's a big difference between him and us and the new NDC. You know, you listen to the Honorable Andrews in Carriacou, and everything is about me. I had done that, you know. So I think really and truly the people have recognized that NNP has the answer, you know. And I believe that coming soon they will return to put some order in this country one more time. Thank you, my brother. I know we're running out for time.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so very much. Why people keep messaging me and ask me if do I look like somebody that under arrest? I mean, no. Look, my. They wish. Oh, they wish. Folks, that's nearly all the time we have for tonight on Talking Points. Yep, I only seen messages coming in every now and again. I seen a message come in. Sheldon, where are you? Ting. We hear you under me under arrest. They wish some of them government ministers faster see inside a police cell than any of us. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And tomorrow night, we have quite a large amount of information we need to go through and pick apart because we're seeing lots of things happening here. Remember, as I told you, and even remember, you know, the Ministry of Finance put out a thing when people was asking about salary, basically telling them, what you're asking about salary for, salary is going to be paid this time. And up to this week, you know, the second week in February, we still had 1 or 2 public servants that have not been paid. And we have pensioners. The same people that the last caller last night referred to. Some of you may have missed it, but the last caller was speaking about people who have submitted their pension life certificates and they have not received their pension for the month of January as they ought to. And I know of at least 3 cases. I have the names. I know of the people. And if I tell all you who one of the people, if I tell all you who one of the people is all you go ball about, I have to keep a certain confidentiality, but I have a name. So if they say a lie and they want to, they come and they try to put the thing on me and all of that, nice, but that's a different case. But I'm telling you, if all you only know who one of the people who's supposed to get a pension payment and ain't get it up to now is, all you balling at her. Yeah, and just to tell you all, because I did mention it earlier, The New National Party did pay pensions before. There's a historical precedent going around there. The New National Party did pay pensions before. They paid roughly, let me see, I think it was $7.7 million, and that was to around 56 persons. 56 persons in 2018. I'm just trying to get the thing here. Yeah. So, and then I think it went up to about 10 million or something like that. So it is a situation that pensions were paid before. But tomorrow night, I want you all to make sure you tune in early. We have a lot of information to go through. We have a lot of stuff to show you and talk about. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. All right. And folks, remember, Breadfruit Fest is taking place in St. Mark this Friday. Yes, I'm going to be around this Friday, starting roughly at 11 a.m. and going until. So I will be up there, God's willing, on Friday at Breadfruit Fest. And we're inviting each and every one of you to come on out to Sunset City Breadfruit Fest. Breadfruit in all forms, fashion, and design. Just come on out to Breadfruit Fest. That's happening this Friday. Folks, my name is Sheldon Scott. I am out. It's been wonderful being here with you. In everything you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. I am out. Yeah.
This is not politics. Please don't forget. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine, fine. I said I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. Serious business. There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use. No rocket science to get to connect.